What games are you most looking forward to in 2025? We've each picked 5 at Legendary Tactics to share with you. All right, so we might as well begin with the best looking. So NATO.
Thank you.
All
right.
So your number 5 pick, our overall number 15. What are you going for?
Yeah, there's a lot of really interesting games coming out next year, actually. I thought I would start with one that we got to look at Gen Con, actually.
Paverson Games?
Paverson Games.
Okay.
Now, I've been hearing about this game for a while. Like, it's ever since the success of Distilled, this has been one that has been on people's radar. And I think it kind of follows the same kind of, I don't know, a classy Euro, I guess you could call it, where you're...
The artwork's beautiful.
The artwork was beautiful. It looked like a really interesting game, some interesting mechanics. And so I'm really interested in giving this one a go. And it's all about essentially getting, commissioning the building of violins and stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, it's very interesting.
Sounds fun. Well, I'm going a completely different direction with my pick, and this is Diplomacy Era of Empire.
Oh, Diplomacy is back.
Games. It is,
Renegade. Interesting.
So, I mean, over the years, there's been a variety of different iterations of Diplomacy. This is no exception. It's set in an Asiatic front, I guess, and there's the Ottoman Empire, China, Indochina, the East Indies, sort of that area. They're competing for control. All of the classic rules of diplomacy, a new map. You've got Britain, France, Russia, Turkey, China, Japan, and the Netherlands.
Oh, interesting.
Vying for control.
All right, okay.
Yeah, so I think just the amount of time I've spent playing diplomacy, I really want to check this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
So I am really looking for a game to fill my Iliad empty spot in my collection.
Okay,
you know what?
nice.
There turns out that Reiner Knizia is putting out Iliad.
Ooh.
Oh.
So it's going to be through Bitewing Games.
Yeah.
And 30-minute play time, so it seems like maybe Flash and it already seems like something game you'd play. It's symmetrical tile placement.
Yeah.
There's 2 different piles. Basically, you're drawing each from your own pile, and you're pitting Hector of the Trojans versus Achilles of the Greeks.
Oh, all right.
So it should, it looks to be interesting.
Okay. Well, and Reiner Knizia is obviously.
Yeah.
When I saw that name,
you have to give that a
it's
look.
going to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Next one up for me is one called Night Witches, which is kind of in a weird title, but it's actually the name that the Germans gave to a night bomber squadron, in a Russian night bomber squadron who were entirely women.
Oh, cool.
And so this is a game by David Thompson and Liz Davidson. They're working together on this. And I saw kind of a prototype when I was in DC in April. And I just think any David Thompson game, you got to give it a look.
For sure. Everything he touches turns to gold.
And this one is solitaire, or you can do 2-player co-op. And play out missions with the Night Witches. And I don't know, it just seems very interesting. I want to give it a look anyway.
All right.
Nice. Okay. Well, our number 11 game, this is one that I've been waiting for. I backed it on Kickstarter. I've been waiting a long time for it. And it should be coming out this year officially. Rogue Angels, Legacy of the Burning Suns. So
we did content on Rogue Angels together like 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
For sure. Yeah, Emil Larsson's bringing this one together. And reminds me a little bit, it's a cooperative tactical game, a little bit like Imperial
Assault.
The Star Wars game. You're moving on the grid, you're making decisions, there's stealth missions, there's intel gathering. You might, sort of those ones where you trigger an alarm and then you have to fight, and essentially you're trying to escape through the missions, a sort of a storybook type thing where you play the different pathways. So looks like a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get this.
And it has like a psychological dimension to the characters, though, I think.
It did, yeah.
That was really intriguing, I remember. I don't know if that made it, or what form it made it to the final
the characters grow and change throughout, depending on your choices. Then there's different sort of profiles of characters that you can turn into.
Yeah, so I thought that part was really neat. So
look pretty cool.
Yeah, we'll have to try that when the final version comes out next year.
That's right.
Yes.
Down to number 10.
Okay, well, you know what? I can't have a list without having a Marvel game on it.
Yes, of course.
So we're going to go with the Marvel Dice Throne X-Men game this year.
Okay.
Nice.
It comes with 8 X-Men characters. It's an asymmetrical design. It's got you do some skilled card playing, so it's I'm guessing some card play versus along with some dice chucking and dice manipulation. It has 1v1, 2v2, or 2v2v2.
All right.
For a great big.
That'll work for your family.
So exactly. So
cool.
you know what? I thought that was kind of neat. So,
Yeah.
So we're talking about Gambit and Wolverine and what's her name? Jean somebody?
Jean Grey.
Grey's in
Jean
there.
Grey,
Yep.
right, okay.
All those, yeah.
So those regulars?
Yes.
Very
That's
cool. Well, I would definitely play that with you.
Awesome.
I like a tactile game, and there's a bit of luck sometimes with those, but I think there's strategy in how you use your dice too.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stay in the X-Men IPs. That's good.
Yes.
Very nice.
Well, next up for me is a game from Compass Games that's coming out called Trench Raid. It's based in World War One, and it's a small scale game where, from what I understand, you're essentially crossing no man's land and raiding the enemy trenches. And it's something I know that actually Volko Runke has also expressed. He's got a game coming out. I don't think next year. I'm not sure exactly when, but I think 2026 that deals with a similar topic. But it's just
he did the coin series.
He did the coin series. He did Labyrinth, and he did the Levian campaign series like Nevsky as well. So anyway, I mean, Volko's not the designer on this particular one, but it does look interesting in that it's an aspect of World War One, small scale, small individual people. The scale's very small, and it just looks really like it could be a really interesting game just to
Very cool.
play World War One in that kind of format.
One of the things that you'll get from our channel is a wide variety of choice, and if you have traditionally liked games that NATO's liked, then some of his picks are going to work. Yeah, absolutely. And we appreciate you being here. Make sure you subscribe and like if you'd like to support our channel. We always appreciate your support.
Yes, absolutely.
So good. Moving on to my next pick. This is our number 8. It's Puerto Rico, 1897.
Interesting.
So the original Puerto Rico, 2002, great game. I've got just the original, very simple design. This is a modified special edition, so it's going to have all the elegant components. I think they've changed a little bit of the gameplay. They've streamlined it, updated the themes a little bit to make it a little more palatable for some. And I have no idea if this game is going to be good or not. I have a feeling I'm going to play it and say, oh no, I just like the original better because I really like the original. But I still have to try it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I hope the rollout will be smoother
oh my gosh,
than it was for the 1897 base game.
Oh, it was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
It was a complete, the printing errors and just all kinds of problems where the iconography wasn't right.
So hopefully this will go out better, but I'm intrigued to try it as well. I think, I think that they, maybe if they tweak some of the balance between some of the buildings and stuff, I don't know, could be neat.
That's right.
Looking forward to it
Let's
too,
take a
Flash,
look.
yeah.
Very good. Number 7.
Okay, so I'm
Caps.
going with the Fellowship of the Rings trick-taking game.
Yes, I'm in.
Okay, so in this one here, there's 18 chapters that follows the book of the Fellowship of the Rings.
Okay.
And you kind of go through it with a different character that of your choosing, and you adventure through the story. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that has to offer.
I like cooperative trick-taking. I wonder if it's similar to The Crew.
Yeah, maybe it might be in that vein.
Yeah, you guys rave about the Crew.
The Crew is really good. Oh, it's a great one.
It's really solid.
Yeah, good. Next up for me is a game called Coast Watchers with GMT Games, and the aforementioned Volko Runke is the designer. Again, I saw a prototype version of this when I was in Washington in April, and it's based on the Coast Watchers, who are a group of Australians that lived in all the sort of the Pacific Islands and kept an eye on the Japanese Navy and their activities and reported back at great risk to their personal lives the intelligence that allowed the U.S. to act accordingly and to defeat Japan in the Second World War. And it's a really neat, it's a block game, so you have a map and all these blocks, but you, as a Japanese player, you don't know which of those blocks hides the Coast Watchers. And so you have to try and use intelligence to peek at the blocks and see if they're there, and then if they're there to try and capture them and stuff. And the Coast Watchers are trying to keep moving so they're not detected, and report
on mouse.
A bit of cat and mouse, and just try and report on, get his victory points by reporting on certain activities and letting the U.S. know and getting their message out. So it's a really intriguing idea.
Can that be played solo?
No, it's bluffing, so the two player for sure, because you have all the bluffing involved.
Very good. Okay. Number 5. So this is from Matago Games, and originally they came out with Kemet, and Innis you've got as well, which is quite good.
Yes.
I've got the original version of this, so it's Cyclades. This is the Legendary Edition. So the original designers got together and they decided to streamline the game. They added, so this has all the expansions in there. The gameplay is supposed to be more dynamic, more fluid. There's a strategic bidding system that I guess defines the game more. So it sounds like, and with the original Cyclades, I liked the game, but I didn't love the game. So I'm hoping that with these revisions, that might make it the game that I'm really looking for.
Yeah, that's great. I would be great. I've always viewed Kemet, Cyclades, and Innis for whatever reason as kind of the same great quality.
For sure.
And just never get them to the table enough.
Well,
that's the biggest crime.
And there's a crossover too. Like I use the little miniatures from Cyclades in my Kemet game, and there's cards that go with it. There's a little expansion that made those games sort of cross-pollinate. I love that.
Yeah, that was neat.
I mean, Egypt meets Greece, and it doesn't matter. Who cares?
Who cares? It's just
a lot of fun.
dudes on a map.
Pretty imaginative.
Exactly.
So, very good. Okay, Cax, we're on to your number 4.
Number
now,
4.
are we allowed to have expansions on this list?
Well, I know there was some debate, but I had to throw this one in.
He does what he
Because
wants. He
there's
doesn't
been
listen
nothing
to it.
major in this game since 2015, and I thought, 9 years later, they're actually it's the Mage Knight Apocalypse Dragon release.
Okay.
So this is their first big time release. Yeah, like I said, in almost 9 years. There's a new hero, Coral. They have new enemies, including the 4 Horsemen and the Apocalypse Dragon.
Okay,
so,
well, there you go. All right.
And there'll be some
And
new
the kitchen
scenarios.
sink.
And the kitchen. Yeah, that's right. So we're going all in here. We're going whole hog for Mage Knight.
Yeah.
And I'm looking to add that to my collection of my Mage Knight base game. So
Excellent.
you do need the base game. But
Yeah,
it'll
yeah.
be. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Well, you always say that you want to get Mage Knight to the table more, and maybe this is a good reason to
This
do
will
that.
be the
Maybe
kickstart.
this
for
will be it. Yep.
Exactly.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess this is my last pick. And this is one that I don't know that much about, but we all know of the Alamo, right? We've heard of that. This is a game called The Halls of Montezuma. It's about the war between the U.S. and Mexico around that time. It's by Fort Circle Games. And Kevin Bertram is one of the co-designers. I cannot remember the other co-designer's name. I apologize for that, but I did again see a very early copy in Washington, and it was just it looked really neat, very much along similar lines to the Shores of Tripoli, which we played a heck of a lot. We were in a tournament and everything, and I really love that game because of how streamlined it is. It isn't hard to learn, it isn't hard to teach, and it isn't hard to play, but it tells a great story and it teaches history at the same time. And I think Halls of Montezuma might be kind of just as good, if not better. So I'm really excited to give that a try.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. All right,
Nice.
you're
All
Raj.
right, this is our number 2. This is the game I'm most looking forward to. We saw it at Gen Con. It's from IV Studios, and the game is called Brink.
Yes.
Now, you guys might not expect this pick from me because it's a worker placement game. There's trading, there's hidden voting, which I do like those mechanisms.
Yes.
But this is set in the world of Moonrakers. I love Moonrakers. Fractured Sky was another great game that came out from IV Studios. I've just been really enjoying their games, and it feels like they take a mechanism, they say, how can we make this really fun and cool? So Moonrakers is the deck building game that sort of lured me into the world, and I think this game is neat. So you get different size ships that you're trying to upgrade, and you're getting resources and actions, all those typical things, but it just sounds like a game that will fit a niche in my collection.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
All right.
Awesome.
And we're
the
down
number
to
one
the
pick
number
here,
one pick.
which I'm going with, is DC Superheroes United.
Okay.
And it's by Simon Games.
Okay, nice.
Family friendly, it says. It's a co-op adventure game.
Yeah.
They say simple rules, quick to play, a little bit of strategy in there.
Okay.
And so it feels like it's going to just hit a lot of different buttons. And you know what? Quite frankly, I don't do enough DC.
yeah, so I was going to
And
say.
so we
If you
a
have
little
Marvel,
DC in there.
you
I've
need
done-
DC.
I've done Marvel a fair bit now, so it's time to give DC a turn.
I
And not only a
agree.
turn,
Like Marvel seems to be really, I don't know exactly why, but they seem to be really oversaturated, and they don't seem to have as much on the DC side of things.
So we're going to try it out. We're going to see what
absolutely.
DC Superheroes United has to offer, and I'm looking forward to trying that one. And there's a whole series around that, so
all
we're
right.
going to really see what that's all about.
Okay, and
Yeah.
if it's Simon, it's probably got minis.
That's right.
Yes.
That's what I'm hoping
All
for.
right.
Well, I could play almost any of these games with you, so
Yes,
look forward to
absolutely.
Awesome.
it. Let us know what you're going to be choosing for next year. What are you looking forward to, and what are you hoping to get onto the table?
And until then, don't forget to get out there
Get gaming
and be legendary.